y'all, it's Erin with Twirling down Main Street. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Go ahead and subscribe. And if you're not new, then welcome back. So today we are going to be talking about Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure and how to score a virtual line pass for that ride. Before we do any of that though, it is the start of a new month. It is February now. So I have a new way to store my pins of the month. And this is a little cross stitch I did with the Minnie Mouse bow. And I want to show you all the pins that I picked for this month. So Valentine's Day is this month. So the first pin I picked is part of a set. It says, "I'll be your Minnie." So the matching one that goes with this says, "I'll be your Mickey," and my husband has that one. Continuing with the Valentine's Day theme, I also picked the wedding theme one. So I actually got this when we were on our honeymoon. Thought it was very appropriate. And then the Disney Skyliner one that says "There's magic in the air," because I feel like everybody says that about Valentine's Day. And then last is Marie. So if y'all don't know, the new expansion on the France Pavilion has opened, and I just wanted to include Marie in that because she is French, I think. Yeah. So these are the pins of the month for February. Yay. Okay, so what y'all really care about is Hagrid's virtual line pass. First of all, what is Hagrid's? Hagrid's is a ride at Islands of Adventure, which is part of Universal Orlando, and its full name is Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, but that's a mouthful, so I'm just going to call it Hagrid's from now on. It is the newest ride at Islands of Adventure. It opened, I think, June of 2019, and it is awesome. I don't want to give anything away. But it's just, you have to ride it if you go to Universal. It is the coolest ride ever. It's a coaster and it follows like a storyline kind of, and it's just so smooth, and there's some unexpected things that happen, and it's really, really cool. So cool, in fact, that some days there's not a normal standby line. So usually during the week there's a normal standby line that you can wait in line for, and I found really that I've never waited more than 45 minutes for it, even when the line starts way back in the Lost Continent area. However, on days that it's more crowded or holidays, usually every single weekend and holidays, if it's more crowded, then Hagrid's goes virtual. What does that mean? It means that there are certain times throughout the day that if you are on the Universal app, you can reserve a time to come and get in line to ride it. So you still have to wait in line to ride it, but you have to have this pass in order to even get in line. On these days, however, if there is early park admission, the Hagrid's virtual line won't start until after early park admission is over. So if you're worried about getting a time to ride it and you have early park admission, so if you're a pass holder sometimes, or if you're staying at a Universal hotel, then you can just go and get in line. But once the park officially opens, then it'll usually go to a virtual line if it's on a weekend. So how do you go about getting a virtual line? So first of all, you have to have the Universal Florida app downloaded. You can search for it in the App Store. I will also link down below where to find it in the App Store and like the Google Play Store. Once you do that, you then need to create a Universal account. You might already have one from the Universal website, but you might not. And this is useful for if you're mobile ordering. You can use the app, you can check wait times on the app, you can even link your tickets. So in case you accidentally misplace your ticket or your annual pass, if you still have it on your phone, that's still a valid ticket or pass, and so they can just scan those. So you don't have to worry about carrying your paper ticket or your annual pass around if you want to have it on your phone. So in your app, the first thing you're going to do is click the 3 horizontal lines up at the top to open the menu. And then you're going to go down to Virtual Line Experience and click that. So that just gives you a little overview of the virtual line, but in order to actually get to the virtual lines, you have to click Virtual Line Venues, and that'll show you all the rides that are virtual that day. So yesterday when I was looking at this, Hagrid's, Jimmy Fallon, and Mummy were all virtual. Today, I guess it's less crowded, so Mummy is not virtual. Jimmy Fallon is always virtual right now just because of the way the queue is. With social distancing measures, it's just easier for them to have it virtual, so it's always virtual. And then again, Hagrid sometimes will be virtual, sometimes it won't. So today it is virtual, so I'll click on Hagrid's. And then right there it says virtual line pass, so you'll click that. I'm not in the park, so I can't do anything with that. And it says this feature is reserved for our guests currently in Universal Orlando Resort theme parks. About that, I have been in the Royal Pacific Resort and gotten virtual passes, which they said that sometimes it'll work at Royal Pacific, sometimes it won't, it just depends. I've been in the City Walk parking garage and gotten passes. I've been, of course, in the park and gotten passes, that's a given. I've also been in the car when we were right next to Universal and I was able to get it, so it has a little bit of range. Like, you don't have to be exactly in the park, but you do need to be on Universal property in order to get one of those virtual passes. So you can't get it if you're sitting at your house and decide you want to go later. You have to be there on property. If there were passes available, it would let you slide to choose the amount of people that are going to ride it, and then it'll show you the times that are available. You'll click that and then confirm it, and you'll have a QR code that you can come back and scan. So you'll go back to where the line starts, which usually right now is in Lost Continent. It's right near where the talking water fountain is, and you'll see there's a lot of people around it always. But there will be team members there checking your phone. They'll scan the QR code that's on your phone, make sure it's the right time, make sure you have the right number of people, and then you'll be allowed to get in line. From there, it might be a 45 to 30 minute wait, it might be a 10-minute wait. It really just depends how many people get in line right at that time. I've found though, if you go at like a weird time, so don't go like right on the hour, if you go a few minutes after or whatever, it might clear up. A lot of people go like right when their time starts. Depending on what times you get, usually it's like a 30-minute window, so it could be between 12 and 12:30. It'll say the time range, and as long as you're within that, you're good to go. Okay, so these passes, depending on who you talk to, these passes can be hard to get. I haven't yet tried for a pass at 8 a.m. and not gotten one. So the passes drop at 8 a.m., 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. The 8 a.m. one is the easiest to get, I think. Usually I can check it at like 8:15 and there's still a couple times left. But you want to do it right on the hour and you'll have your best chance of getting a time. Usually those time slots are only till about noon. So if you get it at 8 a.m., just know that it's probably going to be a morning time. At 11, 2, and 4, it's a whole lot harder to get the passes. I've looked right at 11 before and there was one available, and so I was gonna screen record it so I could have it for this YouTube video, and by the time I had like gone back and done it again, it was gone. Like 30 seconds, it was gone. So just know that it's gonna be a whole lot easier at 8 a.m. to get a pass. Also, if you have multiple people with you and each one has their own Universal account with the app, you can all try and you can ride it as many times as you have a pass. So sometimes I'll do it on my husband's phone as well, and we'll get 2 return times, both good for 2 people, and it doesn't matter that we've both already ridden it that day. You can essentially ride it as many times as you want that day, as long as you have a virtual pass with the correct number of people. So it's not like Rise of the Resistance at Hollywood Studios with Disney, where it's linked to your actual account and you can only ride once a day. This just counts the number of people and what time. So those are my tips for getting a virtual line pass for Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. Again, 8 a.m. is when to get that, or just if you have early park admission, just go and get in the standby line and ride it first thing. Like, that's a great way to start your morning. If you get a time and it kind of doesn't really work with your schedule, make it fit with your schedule, because this ride is so awesome that you're going to want to basically kind of plan your day around it if you do get the opportunity to get one of those virtual line passes. Thank you all so much for watching. Wear your mask, wash your hands, be safe, and we'll see you later.